Hello and welcome to this episode of Philosophy Lectures with a Prof. Tunde Akande. In today's lecture, we shall be talking about a topic titled, What is Good Governance? What is good governance? Today's lecture is a continuation of our discussion ethics, leadership, and good governance. Recall that in our previous lectures, I told you that our main concern in this course is to take a look at these three concepts and see how they interconnect. In previous lectures, we have taken a look at the concept of ethics, the concept of leadership, and now we are looking at the concept of governance. Only after this shall we begin to look at how these three concepts interconnect. So today we are looking at what is good governance. Good governance is a multifaceted concept that encompasses the processes, structures that guide political, economic, social affairs in a state or organization. It is widely recognized as a key factor in achieving sustainable development, social equity, and economic stability. It refers to the manner in which public institutions conduct public affairs and manage public resources in a manner that promotes the rule of law, transparency, accountability, and participation. The concept gained prominence in the 1990s, especially within the context of international development, where it became a critical criterion for assessing quality of governments and their ability to achieve development outcomes. Good governance is a cornerstone of effective administration, essential for the prosperity of nations, institutions, and societies. Governance, broadly speaking, refers to the manner in which political power is exercised in a country. It involves the manner in which the authority of government is exercised in mobilizing a society's social and economic resources to promote public interest. More specifically, it is the process as well as the result of making authoritative decisions for the benefit of society. Thus, governance is fundamentally aimed at serving the public good and improving the living standards of the people. Anything that fails to achieve this objective can be seen as contrary to the purpose of governance. Good governance, therefore, can be defined as governance that aligns with the essential purpose of the state. But what exactly is the purpose of the state? Stephen Lampe argues that states, human creations, formed by people coming together to serve their individual collective purposes. He asserts that states for men and not men for states, indicating that states are tools designed to help individuals achieve their goals. Aristotle offers a similar view, stating that the state, which originated for the sake of life, continues for the sake of the best life. He posits that an ideal state not only provides material advantages but also promotes intellectual and moral development through its education systems, institutions, laws. John Locke, in his writings, ties the purpose of the state to the convenience and protection of property. He believes that the chief end of people uniting into commonwealths and establishing governments is to safeguard their possessions. Adam Smith, in his seminal work, The Wealth of Nations, outlines 3 fundamental duties of the sovereign. These include to protect society from external threats, to safeguard the rights of its citizens, to maintain public institutions and works that benefit society as a whole, which individuals or small groups could not efficiently provide on their own. Herbert Spencer also views the state as a natural institution designed to prevent individuals from infringing on each other's rights, describing it as a joint stock protection company for mutual assurance. A.J. Lasky argues that the purpose of the state is to enable the masses to realize social good on a large scale, which is achieved through the provision of rights. However, he notes that these rights are not absolute. They must be defined and adapted to the prevailing social conditions. These perspectives collectively underscore that the state exists to serve its citizens, providing a platform for them to develop and achieve their potential. The primary aim of any state should, therefore, be the progress and development of its people. The World Bank describes governance as the exercise of authority on behalf of the people, while good governance entails doing so in a manner that respects the integrity and needs of everyone within the state. Good governance is grounded in the core values of inclusiveness and accountability. Madhav adds that good governance is inherently tied to the ethical foundations of governance, and it must be evaluated based on specific norms and objectives. Furthermore, Amartya Sen identifies freedom, accountability, and participation as essential ingredients of good governance. Good governance, therefore, involves inclusive management where all key stakeholders participate in decision-making processes and decisions are made for the collective good of society. While some critics argue that leadership should be the domain of a select few with specialized knowledge, the broader view of good governance emphasizes the importance of balancing expertise with broad-based participation. In a larger context, good governance is crucial for eradicating poverty, promoting development. Kofi Annan stated that good governance is perhaps the single most important factor in eradicating poverty and promoting development. Good governance ensures efficient resource allocation, minimizes corruption, fosters an environment of trust. Transparency is a critical aspect of good governance. Paul Martin emphasizes that transparency, accountability are necessary for good governance, as without them, corruption prospers, accountability fades, and sustainable development is impossible. I want you all to take note of this statement that transparency and accountability are necessary for good governance, and without them, corruption prospers, accountability fades, and sustainable development is impossible. Okay? Additionally, participatory decision-making empowers citizens to be stakeholders in their governance. Mary Robinson underscores that good governance requires participatory institutions that guarantee rights, ensure transparency, and protect the rule of law. By way of summary, the following represent key principles of good governance. Number 1, transparency. Transparency refers to the openness of government processes and decisions. A transparent government makes information accessible to the public, which allows citizens to hold leaders accountable for their actions. It also fosters trust between government and the people. According to the World Bank, transparency reduces the opportunity for corruption as it exposes government actions to scrutiny. Next is accountability. Accountability is the principle that those in power are answerable to the public for their actions and decisions. It is closely related to transparency because without access to information, accountability is difficult to achieve. Effective accountability mechanisms such as checks and balances, judicial oversight, and free press are essential in preventing abuse of power. Next is rule of law. Remember, we are looking at the essential ingredients of good governance. And the next one we are looking at is the rule of law. The rule of law is fundamental to good governance, ensuring that all individuals and institutions, including the government itself, are subject to the law. The rule of law promotes fairness in society and ensures that rights are protected. It is also crucial for maintaining order and resolving disputes in a fair and impartial manner. The next one is responsiveness. Responsiveness refers to the capacity of institutions and leaders to serve the needs and interests of the public in a timely and appropriate manner. Yes, it has to be timely and it has to be in an appropriate manner. Okay, so responsiveness refers to the capacity of institutions and leaders to serve the needs, interests of the public in a timely and appropriate manner. Okay. Governments that are responsive adapt their policies, services, changing needs of their citizens. Responsiveness is closely linked to participation, inclusiveness, as it requires engaging with a broad spectrum of society to understand and address their concerns. The next one is equity and inclusiveness. Good governance ensures that all members of society feel included and have opportunities to participate in decision-making processes. Equity involves fairness in the distribution of resources and opportunities, while inclusiveness ensures that marginalized and vulnerable groups are not excluded from societal benefits. Now, let me quickly make a point on equity. Most times, people yearn for equality. People demand for equality. People want to be given equal treatment and all that. But it is practically impossible to achieve equality in society because people are not equal. In various ways, in various contexts, people are different. And if you want to pursue equality to its logical conclusion, it will require that different people perform the same roles. Because if you want to analyze it, it will come to the point that when a person is performing a different role, it is a way of treating them unequally. So the attempt to treat people equally, the attempt to achieve equality in its literal sense is practically impossible. So the way to achieve equality is to pursue equity. Equity recognizes difference. Equity recognizes that people are not the same. It recognizes differences in social statuses, in circumstances and situations, and several other factors. And so it brings these differences into consideration in the treatment of people. So equity, the pursuit of equity, recognizes that people can play different roles and that the playing of different roles does not automatically translate to inequality. So what equity pursues is to ensure that it recognizes the various roles these people play and remunerates them adequately. So equity places emphasis on recognizing difference and division of labor and promotes the adequate recognition and remuneration of these different roles. So this is one of the areas where people like feminist philosophers who are pursuing equality between men and women are getting it wrong, because equality does not mean that everybody should perform the same role. You can never achieve that kind of equality in any form, at any layer of society. Even in the home, you have the father, you have the mother, you have the children. They all play different roles. Each role is important. So equity places emphasis on the importance of division of labor, the importance of each role, and the need to adequately recognize and remunerate these different roles. Okay, so we achieve equality by pursuing equity. In other words, we pursue equality as equity. I hope you understand that. Maybe if you don't, I will create opportunity for further discussion on it so that we can throw more light on it. So equity involves fairness in the distribution of resources and opportunities. It does not necessarily emphasize sameness, but it emphasizes fairness in the distribution of resources and opportunities. While inclusiveness ensures that marginalized and vulnerable groups not excluded societal benefits. Okay. The integration of these principles into governance frameworks is essential for achieving social justice and reducing inequality. Okay. The next one is effectiveness and efficiency. Effective governance entails the ability of institutions to produce results that meet the needs of society while making the best use of resources. Effective governance entails the ability of institutions to produce results that meet the needs of society while making the best use of resources. Efficiency refers to the optimal use of resources to achieve the desired outcomes. Good governance requires that institutions not only capable of delivering services, but also that they do so in a manner that minimizes waste, corruption, and abuse. So, these are the various ingredients of good governance that we talked about, and I wish to pause here for today while I allow you to reflect on what I have said so far. Remember, as I said, this is a discussion on concept of good governance. It's a follow-up to the earlier ones we had on the concept of ethics and leadership. So, having discussed this, in our next class, we will now begin to talk about the connections, how these various concepts connect, how ethics fosters good leadership, governance. That's what we shall be talking about in our subsequent lectures. I want to pause here for today and allow you to digest what I have said so far. Please feel free to send in your questions and comments by dropping them in the comment section, because as I say always, it is practically impossible to exhaust any topic within one lecture space. So what we have done here is just to give you the gist of the matter. So feel free to send in your questions and comments so that we can address areas that we have not touched. If you like what you have heard, I also want to encourage you to like and share this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification icon so that you can always get notified each time I upload a new video. Till I come your way in the next lecture, it's bye for now and have a lovely day.